I am an addict when it comes to watching videos about Facebook marketing. I really love that YouTube has so many My Facebook strategy, and you can see what people did and how much success they had, and I really love to watch this content. But there's one thing that I actually think most of those videos are missing. Most of the strategy videos actually just show a tactic and how one person was able to achieve a certain outcome. But what the videos are not showing is the underlying theory and how this was possible. Because you cannot just go out there and try to remodel what someone did, try to replicate it and think that you will have the same success. You cannot think that you can go out and copy-paste someone and see the same results. If Facebook ads haven't worked for you yet, then it is very likely that the cause of it is that you have not understood the basic fundamentals of how they work. This is really all the theory you need in 2020 to understand Facebook ads, to win the auction, outperform your competition, and finally make Facebook ads work for your business. So let's jump right into the video. Okay guys, so welcome to this mini course about the Facebook ad auction. It is really important to understand that every single ad on Facebook or Instagram belongs to Facebook, goes through an auction. There are literally billions of auctions that take place every single day. And this is what we refer to as Facebook's algorithm. Facebook's ad algorithm is nothing else than this auction. The auction is AI driven, otherwise billions of auctions would not be possible every day. And what it is in its core, it's that advertisers compete against each other for the right to show a user their ad. I want to break this down by giving you a simple example, very simplified too. So let's say there are three companies. There's a barbecue manufacturer, there is a company that sells soccer products for soccer fans, and there is a company that sells ebooks about copywriting. So these companies, they have ads and they want to show it to people that might be interested in the product. And now let's take a Facebook user. Let's name him Ben, for example. And Ben is a nice guy. He works in marketing, and in his free time, he loves to watch soccer games and he likes barbecues. So Ben now would be a good audience for all of these free advertisers. But whom of them gets the right to show Ben the ad? And now you want to understand that Facebook needs to balance two things. Facebook is a network and it lives from having users and that are on Facebook, that engage with each other, that post user-generated content. And on the other side, it needs to make money. So that's why it offers people the opportunity to post ads. And now Facebook is in a situation that it needs to create a balance. It needs to stay interesting enough for the user to stay on the platform. And if it shows the user too many ads, they will get annoyed and definitely not use Facebook anymore. And on the other hand, it needs to offer enough inventory for advertisers and enough opportunities to show people their ad at profitable costs. So this is what Facebook needs to balance, and that's what the auction is for. And that's why there are certain criteria in the auction, and I'm going to explain them to you in a second. You need to understand this auction because that's the only way that you can win more of them and get better results for less costs. That's what you want to do. So what is the winning formula for the Facebook ad auction? And by the way, guys, this is not something I'm making up. This information is directly from Facebook, and it's also something we experience on a daily basis within our agency and for our ads. So it's definitely true that Facebook uses this formula to determine the total value. So before I jump right into the formula, every time you post an ad, Facebook will do this calculation. What is the total value for the user of this ad? And then it will compare it with the other advertiser's value, and the advertiser that has the highest value, that it will be the one that is able to show the user the ad. Okay, so now how is your total value determined? It is your bid, so how much you are willing to pay to achieve the desired result, times the estimated action rates, so the probability of generating the desired outcome, plus the ad quality. And this is user signals and low quality attributes. Facebook is really smart when it comes to that. So the AI knows a lot about the quality and how likely it is that people respond to it. And this together is the total value of your ad. Now you can do things to influence that. You can, the fastest and easiest thing is to work with your bid and to adjust your bid strategy. The other thing is to increase your ad relevance. So work on your quality and on your relevance. We're gonna go through all of these 3 criteria now in detail so that you really know what you need to do to win an auction. And the first thing we touch on is your Facebook ad bid strategy. And I'm always surprised how little this is actually used by people, because this is so powerful and this is really key that you understand this. So there are 2 concepts that we distinguish and that you need to understand. On the first side, you have no cost control, and on the other hand, you have cost control. So let's start with the default, and this is what most advertisers are using without being aware that there are other options as well. And this is the no cost control. So you say to Facebook, I want results at the lowest cost possible, and please, Facebook, you do the bidding for us. So you get the most results that you can for the budget that you set. The downside is that you have no cost control and that your costs will start to rise once you exhaust least expensive opportunities. So what does that mean? I have to clarify something, and this is that Facebook does the auction for every person. So it determines on an individual level what person is how likely to convert. Facebook knows a lot about you. It reads your messages, it listens to your conversation, it is in your email inbox, it knows your browser history. So Facebook, for example, knows exactly that I personally, in my free time, like to buy presets for photos, right? So now Facebook knows that I'm very likely to convert. And when an auction comes and there are different advertisers that compete for me, it's very likely that the advertisers that sell presets will be shown to me because Facebook knows about me that I'm very likely to convert in this case. So when you set the lowest cost possible, it will go for all the people first that are very likely to convert for this particular product, or that are very likely convert could also mean, and this is based on what goal you set for your campaign. You probably know that you should always choose the right goal for your campaigns. So it could also be that you just run an post engagement campaign and Facebook knows about me that I'm very likely to give content about digital marketing a thumbs up. So what Facebook will do, it will show the ad to people that are very likely to perform your desired action first. So that's how it is able to deliver you a maximum result at the lowest cost possible. But it also means that once these options are exhausted, so once the people that are very likely to convert are exhausted, your cost will rise pretty soon. So your cost will go up and you basically don't have as much control over that. There are scenarios when the lowest cost strategy definitely makes sense. And it is, for example, if you're just starting out to run ads and you actually have no idea how much a certain action is worth to you, what rates you can expect. So when you are in this phase where you learn about your business and the Facebook ads, then this strategy has its place. And the other thing where it's good is that you reach all low cost opportunity while you're spending your full budget. This is for the other options, so the cost control, where you do the bidding manually. There it is likely, or it can happen, that you're not spending your full budget. And I'm going to explain this to you. So the no cost control is good if you're just starting out and if you want to go for all low cost opportunities. But the long-term success of your campaigns relies on if they're profitable or not. And this is why over time you will probably need to adjust your bidding strategies, because you have no cost control, but you need the cost control because you never want to bid more than an action is actually worth to you to maintain the profitability of the Facebook ads. So you should only bid your true value for an action over time, as soon as you know it. This is actually why we know that less than 40% of Facebook marketers say that they can run long-term profitable campaigns. And I think very important part is that they're not using the bid strategies correctly. So before we take on a client and before we start running ads, we actually sit down with them and we make sure that we understand all our business numbers and all the KPIs we need to meet to understand what goals we need to hit to make the campaign profitable. So this is key to have your bid strategy into place, and you really need to know your business numbers. For the cost control, you have different options. You can set a cost cap. So you want to get the most volume in conversions or desired actions while keeping your cost within a certain threshold. The other strategy is you can set target costs. This is good if you need to calculate costs, if you need to have them fixed. So when you set a target cost, then your costs stay fixed even when your budget increases. The downside of that is that you might lose out on cheaper opportunities. And then we have the bid cap, and this is actually what we recommend. So here you can control the bids in the auction. And this is very important for you to distinguish the cost cap and the bid cap. So the bid is different than the cost per result that you get. So that you're bidding something does not mean that this will be your cost per result. I know this was a lot, and Facebook bidding strategy would actually be worth making a whole tutorial on in depth so that you really know what you're doing, but I want to summarize it for you. Facebook uses a certain auction model. It's called Ricky Clark Bruce auction model. And this means that you pay less than what you bid, namely closer to the second highest bid. So you can bid something, but it's not actually what you're paying. You pay closer to the second highest bid. With this auction system, the optimal strategy for each advertiser is to bid their true value for a conversion for an action. So this is the smartest opportunity for you, and this is the optimal bidding strategy for this type of conversion that Facebook also uses. So you need to know your true value. Your true value is your average lifetime profit of a conversion. Don't forget, you need to take into consideration your customer lifetime value because that is completely different. The value of a conversion for you is completely different if you have a one-time product, maybe even a drop shipping product where you don't have a brand and upsells around, than when you have, for example, a subscription product where you get a recurring revenue every month. So your average lifetime profit of a conversion minus the Facebook advertisement costs is your true value. That's what you need to bid. If you bid less, you lose opportunities. If you bid more, you will have unprofitable conversions. Okay, so that was it for the bid part of the auction. And that's something you can actually change very quickly and rather easily. But what can you do if you don't have more budget to figure this out? Or if your opportunities with that are already exhausted? Then you need to look into your ad quality and relevance. So now I want to talk a bit more about the second factor in the total value formula, which is Facebook's estimated action rates. There's not so much you can do about that because it also takes into account things like your ad account history, how your ads performed in the past, and how likely a specific user is to perform the desired action. But it is a concept you need to understand. So Facebook estimates action rates on an individual level, and it is the probability that a person will make an action when seeing the ad. This is a bit complicated, so I want to give you an example. If you bid $25 for a purchase, because that's what the conversion is worth to you, and the estimated action rate of making a purchase after an ad impression is 0.1% for Evelyn, so for this specific user, right, the impression level bid is $25 times 0.1%, so $0.025. And this is before we add the relevancy score. This means you'll end up bidding higher for people who are more likely to convert. I already touched on that. So the higher quality audiences cost more. And I think that also makes sense, but it's something you need to understand that's also speaking to why you should bid your actual worth of the conversion for you. Since you cannot influence so much here, your leverage, especially if you don't have infinite budget to spend, and is your Facebook ad relevance and quality. And here, this is amazing because here you really have the chance to compete with huge advertisers, with worldwide brands that have incredible high budgets, and you still can win over them if you get this right. So here, you really need to pay attention, and this is something that you want to make your main priority when running campaigns and when creating ads. Your ad quality is determined from many sources, and this includes user signal and if your ad has low quality attributes. Understand this, the lower your ad quality is, the fewer people you reach and the higher your cost per results are. So the ad quality directly influences how much you pay. If you repeatedly post lower quality ads, and the lower quality is determined by Facebook, so it's not your personal opinion if this is a good ad or not, and this is actually measured by Facebook, then Facebook may start to consider all your ads from your page, your domain, your ad account, or associated entities like your Instagram as low quality. Pay attention to that. That is really important. It means that if you, for example, start out running Facebook ads by yourself and you don't know what you're doing and you just run with it and are not aware of that, and your ads are not performing well, this means you harm your ad account for the future. This means that in the future, you will always pay more than other advertisers just because in the beginning you did not know what you were doing. That's also why we recommend that you really educate yourself about Facebook ads before just starting to waste your time and money into it and harming your account for the future. So really pay attention to that. You can improve your ad performance by removing low quality attributes. I will tell you what they are in a second from your ad. And over time, your ad performance should improve. Facebook wants to see that you're learning as an advertiser and that you're improving. Otherwise, you will be punished and pay more in the future. The good thing is that you can measure the quality of your ad relative to other ads that is competing with in the same auction. And for that, you can use the quality ranking in the ad relevance diagnostics. And I'm going to explain that to you also. So stay tuned. It's very important, very powerful tool. So let's start with the low quality attributes within the ads. And this is best practice. This is standard knowledge that you really need to do. There's no way around that. Avoid too much text and image. Facebook even sends you a notification when you have too much text and image, and it already says to you, this ad is low quality, we're going to show it to fewer people. So if you put too much text on your images, it is already an indicator that you will pay more. And I have put you an example here. So this already would be too much text on the ad. Facebook actually says that the only text you should use here, the acceptable amount would be just the logo, right? So really avoid using text in the ads. Rather try to build ads that tell the story right away. You want to work with video, or you can also make illustrations, but avoid the text. The next thing is withholding information. So I also have put you an example. You were shocked by how amazing his abs are after eating this superfood. This, first off, it's also sensational language, which Facebook hates, but it's also like you'll be shocked. It's a bit clickbaity, right? It tries to get the user to click on it by withholding information. So that is something that is considered a low quality attribute, and Facebook will punish you with higher costs. Another low quality thing will be engagement bait. So I've put you an example here. This says comment yes if you like music. So don't do things like that. Or another example is give us a laugh if you think zodiacs are the best. So try to avoid engagement bait. Another thing is if you use bad grammar or spelling mistakes, Facebook will punish you by saying this is low quality, so you have to pay more. This could actually even lead in your ad being not approved at all. And also if your image has literally nothing to do with the ad, that's also something that has came up. So people were using high contrast images to make the people stop from scrolling. And if this image does not have to do anything with your ad, this will also be considered as a low quality ad content. There are two factors to the low quality attributes. One is on Facebook or Instagram, so within the platform, the ad content directly, the text of the ad or the image. And the other low quality attributes, they consider your post-click experience, so your landing page and everywhere that you send the user to. If your landing page lacks original content, if it has a disappropriate volume of ads with content, if you have a pop-up ad coming up right away, or if you have an unexpected content experience, That could be something that, for example, you send the user to a blog post and then you only show a snippet and that user has to click further and further and further to read more. This is considered as low quality by Facebook. Or if you have a misleading experience. So if, for example, your product is unclear, if your shipping times are unclear, if your customer support is unclear, then this will also be considered as low quality. This is actually something that is pretty recent and Facebook got super, super strict with it. You probably saw all these troubles that were caused by dropshippers not sticking to their shipment times or offering poor customer support. And this was something that was harming Facebook's reputation. So now they are very, very strict with that. And probably you already experienced that a lot of your ads were disapproved and you could get them approved. And this is in a lot of times due to low quality attributes, whether it is in your ad or on your landing page. These are the attributes you need to know and you need to avoid this. And as a marketer, I know that sometimes this is really hard to kind of avoid this because we are taught that we need to sensationalize language or withholding information like, okay, you have the secret, you get people to be curious, right? Working with curiosity, or that's actually really something that we used to use, but you really have to avoid this. Otherwise, you get flagged as low quality if you even get approved and then you pay more. So keep that in mind. And Facebook actually knows not only by these attributes, but also by the user signals if your ad is high quality or low quality. So if a user says, hide the ad, hide all ads from these advertisers, or hide due to repetition, if they report the ad, or if they bounce from your landing page, or your landing page dwell time is low, then Facebook also knows that the ad is low quality. Let me talk a bit more in detail about that. So one thing I want to highlight is if people hide the ad due to repetition. One thing you really want to pay attention to as a Facebook advertiser is your frequency. So you want to show your ad to a person probably more than one time for the ad recall. But if you showing it too often and your frequency goes up too high, then people are very likely to be annoyed by it. And that's something you always want to have an eye on. I actually made another video on how you can set up Facebook automated rules, for example, so that this never can slip through, so that you always are informed automatically if your ad frequency goes above, for example, we use 4. So this is very important to always have an eye on your frequency. So how often you already have shown the ad to a certain person. Report ad, unfortunately, is something that advertisers used against their competitors. So they report ads from competitors to harm their performance. I'm not saying that you should do it. The landing page bounce rate is the percentage of people that do completely nothing on your landing page. So they click on your landing page, they do nothing, and they're off. This can, for example, be the case if your loading time is higher than 3%. So page speed is definitely a criteria for that. Then also if your landing page is not built properly for mobile. I'm going to talk about the landing page experience a bit more down further. The next thing is your landing page dwell time. So how long are people looking at your landing page? And of course, the longer the people are on your page, the higher quality Facebook thinks that your post-click experience is. And that's why, as a good Facebook marketer, you not only should be able to create amazing ads that stick with all the quality criteria, but you should also know how to build amazing landing pages. And if you don't know how to build them, at least you should have someone at hand that knows how to build them. That's also why in our agency, we are offering web design services, because we discovered that we can drive high quality traffic through Facebook ads, but then the page itself is just not converting and it is harming our quality score. So always make sure that your post-click experience is on point as well. To summarize that and give you a bit more insights is a successful advertiser on Facebook knows the Facebook policies in and out. So you need to know that you need to avoid sensational content. The ads must not contain shocking, sensational, disrespectful, or excessively violent content. And I have put you some examples here. So here is a picture of a car crash. This would not be approved, and if it is approved, it will be flagged low quality and you will have to pay more. But most likely it's not approved. Or here, this image of a gun pointing at the user. This is shocking, and it will probably stop people from scrolling, but it is against Facebook's policies. Again, if it gets approved, then you will have to definitely pay more, and it could also be gets approved but shortly after disapproved. Then we have adult content. So the ads must not contain adult content. This includes nudity, people in explicit or suggestive positions, or activity that are overly suggestive or sexually provocative. And this even goes this far that artistic pictures are also not allowed. So this image shows an artistic implied nudity, and it is not compliant. So this ad will not is not conformed with Facebook advertising policies. This ad would also not be approved. Also, this ad would not be approved. The only thing that is okay is, for example, here, this ad shows nudity and a statue, and this would be compliant with Facebook's ad policy. Successful advertisers should also have their landing page experience under control. So they should have good landing page experience. And against Facebook ads policy are non-functional landing pages. So pages that give you an error when you enter the site or that are under construction. Then if your page only consists of a PDF or a JPEG file, this is also against Facebook's ad policy. Low quality experience, if it gets approved, it's expensive. Landing pages that don't match the product or service promoted in the ad. In the best case scenario, your landing page looks exactly like the ad. So it reflects the image that is used on the ad, the tonality and everything goes hand in hand. The landing page should not automatically download a file onto the person's computer. Make sure that, for example, when you create an ad with a lead magnet, make sure that the ad does not lead directly to a download. You can actually implement the download within lead ads if you set them up, but make sure that if you offer the lead magnet on a landing page, and there are reasons for that, you don't initiate the download right away. Then the landing page must not require you to download an additional program or software to access the content of the page. Then also the landing page with a low web trust rating is against Facebook's ad policy, and most likely not, your ad will not be approved. Another thing is you're not allowed to direct people to a closed or secret Facebook group, or to send people to facebook.com. These are all classified as non-functional landing pages, and you need to avoid that. Also, on your landing page and on your ads, don't have low quality or disruptive content. So you should only link to landing pages that include significant and original content, and the content must be relevant to your ad. Minimize text blocks or that prevent people from viewing the original content on your landing page. This does not include like the cookie notice, because the cookie notice is something that you should have on your page. You should display an entire article on the primary landing page. I mentioned that before. Don't make the user click and break down the article into multiple pages. Or you should not use ad images that are excessively cropped or that require people to click the ad to view the full image. You should not include deceptive or exaggerated copy that incentivize people to click on your ad. Don't feature sexually suggestive or shocking content on your landing page as well. Don't display malicious or deceptive ads on your landing page. So make sure what ads, if you, for example, have a blog, then really make sure that you only have proper clean ads on your page, and also the ratio of content to ads should be reasonable. Don't use pop-up ads or interstalling ads or other ad formats that create a negative user experience. The next thing that you want to pay attention to, and this is a thin line here, so you can use controversial content to boost the engagement of your ad, but you have to do it in a very smart manner, because if you don't do it in a smart manner, then it is against Facebook's advertisement policy. So the ads must not contain content that exploits controversial political or social issues for commercial purposes. And here you really need to find the sweet spot and make sure that you don't cross the boundary and is prohibited by Facebook's advertisement policy. And also you want to avoid that you hurt your brand. So it can be massive leverage and a very powerful tool, but you have to really use it wisely. Another thing is misleading claims. Ad must not contain deceptive, false, or misleading claims, like those relating to the effectiveness of or characteristics of a product or service, or claims setting unrealistic expectation for users, such as misleading health, employment, or weight loss claims. So no exaggerated tips, claims, or tricks. No claims of unrealistic results within a specific time frame. So, lose 20 pounds in 4 days, things like that. Also the before and after images when it comes to weight loss or transformation programs, you will have a very hard time to get these approved, and if they're also considered low quality. So basically avoid to set confusing or misleading expectations for the results or for the delivery time. This is something that, again, has to do something with the reputation damage that dropshippers caused. So make sure that you keep what you promise. This was it for the ad quality and for the Facebook advertisement policies. Really make sure that you know this in and out, because on one hand, it might prevent your ads from being displayed or run at all. So your ads are stalling, they're not approved. Or on the other hand, if they're approved, they will lead to high costs, and you want to avoid that, because if you have too high costs, you're not able to run Facebook as profitable, and then you cannot use this amazing tool to grow your business. So rehearse this chapter. I will also include this presentation as a downloadable link. Really make sure to check your ads before setting them live, before even creating them. Make sure to have those rules in mind and to create high quality ads. If your ads are underperforming, then there is a tool how to diagnose and to fix those ads, and I'm going to show you what these are. Facebook will report to you. Make sure in Ads Manager you can set up custom columns, and you can customize your columns, and you can add those ad relevance diagnostics to it. And these diagnostics are how your ad is performing compared to a competitor's ad in an auction. So you can, after your ad was delivered to a certain amount of people, you will get feedback on your quality ranking in the auction, your engagement ranking, and your conversion rate ranking. And you can use these metrics to diagnose and fix your ads that are underperforming. And I want to point this out, only use those when your ads are underperforming, because sometimes you will get the notification that, for example, your conversion rate is below average, but it could still be that your cost per conversion is within your goal. Then I would not pause the ad or anything. If you get the results that you want, you don't need this tool. This tool is only if your ads are underperforming. Okay, so, and make sure in Ads Manager, in the reporting, you pull up these 3 columns by customizing the columns and then look at them. If you see that your quality ranking says below average, then the ad is perceived as low quality. Then you want to go and you want to pull up the presentation part, and that was just before, and you want to see what things you are doing wrong. Are you doing things in your ad that are against Facebook's ad policy? Do you have low quality attributes? If yes, then you know what they are and you can fix them and relaunch the ad, and it might get approved and perform better. So that's for low quality. If your engagement rate is below average, then the ad is not spurring any interest in the user. And this could be for 2 reasons. You can have just a bad quality ad. You can have an ad that is not interesting at all, or your audience is not relevant. So when you see the engagement rate is below average, then go ahead and check your targeting and see if you are targeting the right people with your ad, and try to make your ad more specific to those people. Your ad should always be as specific as possible without directly addressing things that only you can know about the user, because that is a criteria that will make your ad be shut. So let me give you an example. For example, you are selling jewelry and you have nice zodiac necklaces. Then you can target people that are a certain zodiac sign and show them the necklace that is exactly their zodiac sign. But make sure don't include in the ad copy, this is the perfect necklace for zodiacs like you, because it will imply that you know that this person is a zodiac. Rather go, this is the perfect necklace for zodiac sign XYZ, right? So try to make your ads more relevant without being too explicit with it. But make sure that you check your targeting and that you try to write the ad specifically for those people that you're targeting. Maybe you need to split your ads up into more categories to make it more specific. In another video on this channel, I actually talk about how you can use unrelated targeting to be highly relevant for your audience. And to quickly summarize the video, it is that you have your core interest that people you want to target might be interested in, and you combine it with a targeting that has nothing to do with it. I used the example of a copywriting ebook, and in your core audience, you first target people that are interested in all interests that correlate with copywriting. So maybe digital marketing, copywriting itself, and then you add interest that is irrelevant to it. For example, golfing. And then you create an ad that asks the question, are golfers the better marketers? So you will have people that are interested in marketing and in the type of product you have to offer, but that are also interested in another thing that has nothing to do with the offer. But by cross-targeting those two interests, you can actually create ads for people that will feel like you're directly speaking to them. So that could be a trick to make your engagement rate ranking higher and to make your ads more interesting for people. The next thing is, if your conversion rate ranking is below average, then your ad is not producing conversions. There you should try to first improve the call to action, make sure that you use the call to action button and that it is on point, and also improve your post-click experience, so your landing page. And you probably know about conversion rate optimization, so make sure you have all the tools and best practices in place that you have a highly converting page as well. If you have the feeling that that is all into place and still it's not converting, then you want to target a higher intent audience. So some products or services naturally exhibit lower conversion rates than others. If your conversion meets your expectations, then you don't need to adjust the ad at all. If it does not meet your expectations, then you want to diagnose it, and then you want to improve your call to action, your overall ad, your landing page experience. And if that does not create the outcome that you want, then you might want to try another audience with a higher purchase intent. And this relates back to bidding your true conversion value, by the way. Okay, so the next thing, this is if one of those criteria are below average, and now we have combinations. If your quality ranking is below average and your engagement rate is below average, then the ad is perceived as low quality and it does not bring any interest. So in that case, first you want to improve the quality of your creative and your copy, and then also try to target an alternative audience. This goes back to the point with the engagement rating that is below average. Here you can also try this. So for example, let's go back to my golfer marketing crisscross example. Here you could adjust also the copy. Like I said, our golfers the better copywriters, and also tweak the image so that you maybe have your book displayed on a golfing place, or combine it with the golf ball, something like that. So make sure it is more niche, more relevant, and also the quality, that you not use any low quality attributes, and that you stick within Facebook's advertising policy. Then if your engagement rate ranking and your conversion rate ranking is low, then the ad is not spurring interest and it is not producing conversions. You need to improve both your ad relevance to your audience. So try to make the ad more eye-catching and improve your call to actions and your landing page experience. And in addition to that, or if this does not produce the result that you want, then you want to target a higher intent audience to make the ad convert. Then if we have a below quality rating and a conversion rate rating that is below average, then your ad is clickbaity or controversial. In this case, you want to adjust your ad to be more clearly representing your product or service. And some products and services naturally exhibit lower conversion rates than others and low quality attributes from your creatives. And you also want to avoid low quality attributes from your creatives. Lastly, if your quality ranking is below average, your engagement rate ranking is below average, and your conversion rate ranking is below average, then you basically need to improve your ad completely across the board. So a new creative with a new copy to a new audience, and work on your call to action, work on your landing page experience, and so on. So there it's basically back to start. Okay, so now that we know about all the no-nos and no-goes and everything you should not do and everything that will harm the quality of your ads, it is time to also give you some advice and inspiration for amazing ads. So how can you actually create those high quality ads that will lower your CPAs and will give you a higher ROAS and a higher chance to win the auction? And I have put together some little tricks for you that are working really well for us and that we always do. So the first thing is, when taking on a client, we perform an extensive research on their niche and we analyze the audience and its tonality. So who are the people that this particular product or coaching or software is solving a problem for? We are researching Facebook groups, we go through Reddit, we go through Amazon reviews, and we analyze competitors, and we try to understand what language are the people that are potential buyers, what are they using, how do they talk, what benefits of similar products are they highlighting, what are they complaining about, right? When we go, for example, through Amazon or other reviews, what are the things they don't like? What are the features they are still looking for? So what are they valuing the most? We try to find out what is important for them and where do they get it. And an amazing free tool that supports us in our research is Facebook's Audience Insight. So I want to head over to the Audience Insight. So it starts with choose an audience to start. And I want to say everyone on Facebook. And then you can set a location. Let's stay with the United States for now. We could also define an age and a gender, but when we start to research about a product and an audience, we want to leave that open. And then you can go here and you can put the interest in. So let's say we analyze the product and we have a competitor, and the competitor is Russell Brunson, for example. I want to use an example that probably many of you know. This is the ClickFunnels guy. So I can pull him up, and now I can see the demographics of people that are interested in this person. So we can see it's overall on Facebook, there are 56% women and 47% men. So 53% of women are interested and 47% of men. So this is almost within the average on Facebook. But now when we look at the age, it gets more interesting. We can see that for the women, women from 35 to 44 are, in compared to the average on Facebook, much more interested in him, right? So, and also this applies for 45 to 54. So when you set up your targeting, these are information on your audience demographics that you want to use to build audiences to test. You can not only see the gender and age, but you could also see the relationship status. This is interesting. It's a plus of 20% with singles. So something you probably want to take into consideration when targeting. And you could also see their educational level. What you could also see is their job title. Here's no surprise. So people in sales are more interested than average. And that are already great insights that you can use to build your audiences for testing. Another thing here that I want to point out to you is that you can also see what other pages are these people liking. I mean, obviously they like ClickFunnels, but they also like Shopify. That's a good, interesting information. So what softwares are they using? What nonprofit organization are they interested in? What authors? So you can go through all of these and really dig into it and get a much better understanding about your target audience and about your potential customers. You could even go here and find a bit more out about the locations that people are interested in. So you could niche down further when setting up your audience, and also understand more about their activity on Facebook. So you can see that they are more likely to click ads than the average. And they're also more likely to like pages and comment. So they're much more engaged Facebook users, actually. Okay, so this is one tool. I think it deserves a bit to go through it a bit more in detail, but we're already covering a lot of content in this video, so I'm going to leave that for another day. Another tool that I want to introduce you to is a tool with which you can tap into new interests. If you are familiar with Facebook's ads manager, then you know that on the ad set level, you can target interests and you can look for interests. For example, let's stay with our golfing ad. You can add golfing and then Facebook will suggest you up to 25 audiences. But there are so many more audiences around interests, for example, around the golf interest, than just those 25. And especially those 25 audiences, they are suggested to every advertiser. So these are the most competitive audiences. And you want to use audiences that are less competitive and that are untapped. And this tool is great for that purpose. It's free. And I already pulled it up here. You basically just enter your interest here and then it gives you results. So instead of the 25 default audiences that are interested in golfing that you can target directly in Facebook Ad Manager, this tool suggests you 186 audiences. And you can just go ahead and copy and paste them into your Ad Manager, but they are new and fresh and they are not so competitive. So you can tackle your target audiences from another angle than most advertisers, and this can also give you a competitive edge. The next thing you want to do is that you want to research your most successful competitors or the most successful players in your niche or very similar niches. And then you want to navigate to their Facebook page and go to page transparency. I will do that right now. So for that purpose, I'm hitting back to Facebook. Okay, we're back to Facebook. And for this, I also want to stay with a similar example. So I'm now on the ClickFunnels page. And if I want to understand more about them, I can scroll down here. And there you see on the right side, the page transparency. Click See More. And then you see that this page is currently running ads, and then you can click to go to ads library. And here in the ads library, you will actually see the ads that this page is running. So you can go here and you can analyze the most successful competitor ads and see what they are doing right. You can see all their ads, where they're running it, if they have variations or not. So I think this is a really powerful tool to get an idea on what kind of content, what kind of ads are perceived as high quality. So there you can find a lot of inspiration for your ads. And I would say that you do a lot of research, make a list of all your competitors, go through all their Facebook pages, and really try to figure out what it is, what they're doing, and how you can tweak it so you can give it your personal touch and make it fit to your brand. Okay, guys, this was it for this little mini course on how the Facebook auction works and how you can win it. I hope this was valuable for you. If you are interested in videos like this, then please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and make sure to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Take care in the meantime. Bye.